be a famine. There'll be a drought. They'll be hungry like never before. They'll be tired like never before. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, 3 years before the Antichrist comes, 1/3 of his rain will stop. 1/3 of his produce will stop. Then the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, 2 years before the Antichrist comes, 2/3 of his rain will stop. 2/3 of his produce will stop. Then the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, 1 year before the Antichrist comes, there'll be no rain, there'll be no produce, there'll be nothing. At that time a caller will call out and he will say that the Antichrist has come, the Antichrist has come out. That is coming. Such a fitna that the whole world will come to know of him. Such a fitna that he has not come out in the history of Islam. Such a fitna that when he comes, many Muslims will become apostates. Such a fitna that when it comes, it will rock the imans of some Muslims. Such a fitna that many Muslims, such a fitna that many Muslims are unaware of. Such a fitna that many Muslims are unaware of. Such a fitna that every prophet warned his people against it.
People ask, well, where's Mashiach? Where's Mashiach? We're all waiting for Mashiach. And people make all types of conjecture. Mashiach is going to come here, Mashiach is going to come now. But one thing it says in a dozen places in the Midrash and the Gemara, that for a person that tries to second guess when Mashiach is coming, the Gemara says, Tipach rucham shemechashvei kitzin. The Gemara in Tractate Sanhedrin 97a says that 3 things come in total surprise when least expected. 1 is Mashiach.
He's come out of nowhere and we don't know who he is.
What do we know about him?
He's leading desperate people.
So this is a cult?
We don't know who he's associated with. He could be creating an army. Or he could be leading them to their death.
Message for my father. I know he's your father. We've lost him.
What do you mean?
He just disappears.
No one just disappears.
We all witnessed a miracle.
He saved my daughter's life.
You need to see this.
Bury it for as long as you can. He didn't just click his heels and end up here. He clearly had help. You get around Syria, Israel, Texas.
It's the nature of my work.
And what is that work?
God's work.
Who do you think he is?
You didn't see what I saw.
And if I did, would I be calling him the second coming?
How far will this new movement spread?
I'm going to find out everything about you.
This is bigger than what you can imagine.
alam here are synonymous. Ilm means knowledge, alam means sign. That this is the sign of all signs. The return of the son of Mary, Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And that his return is the most important event now remaining to occur in history. Everything else fades away in comparison with this, including the advent of the Imam al-Mahdi. This is the mother of all events, which yet remains to occur.
That Isa will kill Dajjal. And then all of the followers of Dajjal will disperse running for their lives. Many of them will be from that group. And they will try to save themselves by hiding. And the hadith mentions, this hadith is the creation will side with the Muslims publicly. I shouldn't even just say Muslims, the supporters of Isa. Because there will be Christians who will support Isa and believe in him, so they will become Muslim, right? And for all we know, there might be Yahud as well, who will choose at that time to be with the truth. The hadith don't mention that all of them will follow. It just says the majority of his followers will be from there. There's a difference between the two. Every tree and every rock will say to the believer, come, there is that person behind. Come, and he is hiding. So that there is no use to hide. There's no use to hide anymore, because the creation of Allah will publicly humiliate and say, oh, he's hiding here. Come and deal with this person. Except for the tree of Gharqad. That is a tree that will be quiet and not side with the Muslims. Now, first is, and we can criticize aspects of theology. Jews, there are good and bad people amongst them. Christians, good and bad. Zionism as a movement, you have Christian Zionists, as we explained. You have Jewish Zionists. You have atheist Zionists.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, we have a situation now where the Jews have come back into the Holy Land with Dajjal before the Imam al-Mahdi appeared. Before those 3 years of withholding of the rain by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The withholding of the rain is critical because people would need to be in a state of emergency. Food, shelter, clothing, etc. This is where the Dajjal comes in to fill the gap for those 40 days. The worst of the days will be the first day, and the second day will be not as bad. The third day will go slightly lesser in intensity, and then the other remaining days will be the same as our days. So this is the fitna of Masih ad-Dajjal. On the first, second, third day, it seems that the time may stop, in the sense that the whole day may be like a full year. Allahu Alam. So this is something to bear in mind. Now, when Jesus the son of Mary comes and he descends in the masjid of Damascus, then he will basically be the Jewish prophet, the Jewish messenger, the rabbi of his time before he was on earth, will come down and as a Jew will finish off his very own Jewish people who have been disbelieving even at the time of his presence. How arrogant can they be?
You shall cause fasad in this world twice. You shall cause fasad twice. لَتُفْسِدُنَّ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَّتَيْنِ وَلَتَعْلُنَّ عُلُوًّا كَبِيرًا. And you shall reach a degree of great haughtiness. عُلُوًّا كَبِيرًا.
interestingly enough, because there shall not be a third time of power. Ya Bani Israil, Allah has decreed you shall come to power and be a civilization twice. The first one, وَكَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا, it is a done deal. The second one, when it shall happen, فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ لِيَسُوءُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. There is a missing phrase here because it wasn't built by. So this was the jinn helped Suleiman built the most magnificent icon in the whole world at that time. And this was destroyed in 722 by the Assyrian invasion. And then they built a second temple. And the King Herod built the other temple, which was then destroyed under the Roman destruction of 70 CE. 70 CE, after Jesus Christ, right?
So, simply speaking, which is the group that will want to conquer Jerusalem again? It is obvious, it is Imam al-Mahdi and the Banis from the east, Muslims.
Wujuhakum means there's a missing phrase, like we said. Another group will come, and this group will eliminate the izzah that you had, and you shall see that your ulu and your fasad and your evil did not help you, and you will see it and your faces will demonstrate that. لِيَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ. Now here's the key point that allows them to make this tafsir. وَلِيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. The group that is being referenced here, it is not alien to Masjid al-Aqsa. This group has already conquered Masjid al-Aqsa at some previous point in history. And now they are conquering it again. وَلِيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. Who conquered Jerusalem once before and wants to conquer it again?
وإن عدتم عدنا وإن عدتم عدنا. If you return with your fasad, we will return with our punishment. They return with their fasad. It's happening now before your eyes. And so Allah returns with His punishment. وَإِنْ عُدْتُمْ عُدْنَا. It is at this time that the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, لَتُقَاتِلُنَّ الْيَهُودِ لَتُقَاتِلُنَّ الْيَهُودِ لَتُقَاتِلُنَّ الْيَهُودِ لَتُقَاتِلُنَّ الْيَهُودِ. That's clear. Look at what they're doing today. وَلَتَقْتُلُنَّهُمْ. These are his words. حَتَّى يَقُولُ الْحَجَرُ. حَتَّى يَقُولُ الْحَجَرُ. At that time even the stones will speak. يَا مُسْلِمْ هذا يهودي ورائي فتعال فاقتل. يا مسلم هذا يهودي ورائي فتعال فاقتل. Not all. Those who are waging war, those who are engaged in a mountain of wickedness and oppression and godlessness unprecedented in history.
What we see in this is that after all of that fighting, years and years of Dajjal and Ya'juj and Ma'juj and whatnot, and we don't want to be alive when that happens, those that live through, Allah will give them some peace. And this is the sunnat Allahi fi khalqihi. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Fa inna ma'al usri yusra. Inna ma'al uj. There shall be a period of luxury and peace, the likes of which this world has never seen since the beginning of time. The amount of peace and luxury that will take place, our Prophet ﷺ mentioned that one romana, one grapefruit or one pomegranate will suffice an entire tribe. And one after Ya'juj and Ma'juj, there shall be a period of luxury and peace, the likes of which this world has never seen since years of turmoil and trial. That generation, then they shall be blessed like no other generation has been blessed since the beginning of time. How long will this time frame be? Some hadith mention 7 years. And eventually, something will happen. Isa will either die or whatnot, or Mahdi will die. We don't know when, by the way. And by the way, they die a natural death and be buried in the hijr of the Prophet ﷺ in Medina. Where do we get this from? By the way, Isa will come down to this earth. فَيَتَزَوَّجْ, he will get married. وَيُولَدُ لَهُ, and children will be born to him. وَيَمْخُثُ 45 سَنَةً, and he will live for 45 years. He was taken up at the age of 33. So he will live till he's 45. So another 13 years or so. And this would...
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So then it seems when Isa alayhi salam passes away, then Shaitan will come, emerge, make the inspiration to the people with weak faith after that period to start associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After Ya'juj wa Ma'juj, after Dajjal, after Isa alayhi salam, after Imam al-Mahdi, after all that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send a wind that will take the souls of every Muslim.
A very strange man who will rule the earth, an Abyssinian king will rule the earth. His name, as the Prophet ﷺ describes him, Dhu Suwayqatayn. It's a name and a description. Dhu Suwayqatayn means the man of the peculiar looking shins. They're thin and they're short. Dhu Suwayqatayn. He will come from Abyssinia, Al-Habasha, Ethiopia. And he will destroy the Kaaba, not the Medina, the Kaaba itself, the holiest symbol of the Muslims today. He will destroy the Kaaba in order to steal its treasure and clothes covering. What I understand from that is the covering they have on it today. The Kaaba is the ancient building which was built. Suwayqatayn will first emerge at the end of Isa alayhi salam's time. Allah will send Isa alayhi salam at the head of a vanguard of between 700 and 800. While they are marching towards the Suwayqatayn, it is a special army of about 500, 800 special, which Isa alayhi salam will take with him to fight the Suwayqatayn. Allah will send a breeze from the direction of Yemen, which will take the soul of every believer. Only the worst of people will be left, and they will begin to live like animals or copulate like animals. Ka'b who said, at that time the hour will be close at hand. Now that we know this, Rasulullah said every believer, muwahhid, who is a monotheist, believes in only one God and doesn't make any shirk, will die. Will die peacefully from this breeze. Only the disbelievers and the tyrants and the criminals will stay on earth. The Kaaba is destroyed. The symbols of Islam are destroyed. The Quran has been lifted. There is no more Islamic knowledge. What's left? Ad-dunya, the world. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Ad-dunya mal'una. The dunya is cursed. Mal'unun ma fiha. Everything in it is cursed, illa dhikrullahi wa ma wala, except for the remembrance.
Answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.